If you clicked on this video, you're probably an artist and you're probably really bored of doing the same old thing over and over again. So if you do this, it will hopefully reignite that spark for you. This is something that I've been doing for pretty much years and years, ever since I started learning about art block and how burnout works. It's something that I've implemented into my routine that just kind of makes me feel a lot better about my art and kind of helps me understand where I can improve in the future. And the thing I'm talking about can be done by anybody, professional artists, beginner artists, anybody like that. It can be done with traditional materials. It can be done digitally like I'm doing today in this video. And that is making art with one art supply, and two, the crappiest art supply you own. For me, I'm going to be using MS Paint, and I'm going to be using the 1 pixel-ish, it's like 2 pixels maybe, paintbrush. Now, the reason this is so crap is because you can't use the paint bucket, you can't, do anything with it. And the reason this works in terms of helping you figure out where your art, stands, is because it limits you as an artist to be more resourceful with your art and kind of figure out what to do with it. When it comes to art nowadays, we've got a lot more opportunities and a lot more ideas for us to grow with. And it makes it harder for us to see how to improve because there's just so many options out there. There's tutorials out there, there's Pinterest, vision boards and stuff. There's so many different resources for artists nowadays that it can become a bit confusing, and it leads to burnout a lot more easier than back then because we've got so many options that our brain is trying to process them all, and it gets overwhelmed, which is why this works, because it's so simple that it narrows it down for your brain and it just helps you create. So take your crappiest art supply. It could be literally a writing pen and a printer paper. It could be MS Paint like me. It could be anything. Take one art supply and just use it. And if you don't know what to draw, pick your favorite character from a show. Pick, just an object that you see. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can be something small. It can be a balm of lipstick. It can be, I don't know, a toothbrush. It can be literally anything. But the goal is to just draw as simply as possible and to just make art with the simplest thing that you own. Because once you simplify the art, it not only helps you see where your faults are, like with me, you'll see in this in the clip behind, like in the footage behind, that you'll see me adjusting things and you'll see me changing it, and at the end I'm still not completely happy with my art, but it helps me get a better understanding of where I need to improve. As you can see, I definitely need to improve, my awareness of the face and where different things should be spaced out. And it's stuff like that that can really help you, and it's like those small things that you can pick up on when you're doing this that really makes your art go from like level 3 to like level 5. And it's just one of those things that you can do. And I mean, it's one of the easiest things to do when you're bored because it's so it's got like literally one thing. All you need is like a pen or like, a pencil. All you need is literally the crappiest art supply you own. And it helps you learn different techniques too. As you can see in the video behind where I'm drawing, you can see where I layer the same pen over and over again to get thicker lines instead of changing the weight of the line. And it's stuff like that that really helps you improve as an artist because, you get to learn line weight and you get to learn how different lines and different textures, like the different ways to the different angles that your brush goes in, you see how it changes your art and you can see where it makes it more interesting to look at. It's one of those things that just really helps improve your awareness of what makes art visually appealing to people. So for me, I'm using Yuichi, Isagi Yuichi, from Blue Lock. He's someone that is very inspiring to me because he just evolves, and that's something that I think as humans we should strive to do in general. I feel like we shouldn't really want to go in reverse because, like, what? Um, and that's who I decided to choose. But you can choose literally anyone. It could be, I don't know, Peppa Pig. It could be your mum. You draw anyone, draw anything, whatever it is, just draw. And I know that people say this all the time, and there's been this whole issue on Twitter where there's been someone who's asked for advice and everyone's like, the worst advice is to get is to just draw for yourself and draw whatever. But drawing for yourself is the best advice any artist can give you, because if you're drawing for someone else, you're gonna end up hating it in the long run. Like in the term of long term, you will hate your own art. It's just one of those things, even though it's so small and simple, it gets overlooked so easily. As you can see within the next few minutes of footage, this is where I started to realize, like, oh, this needs to be changed about my art. His face isn't facing, like, all of his face isn't facing the same way. Now, I'm not going to go and remove his eyes fully because I'm using MS Paint and I'm limited to what I have. But that's the beauty of this, like, this exercise, I guess, is that it helps you to understand where you need to start working on yourself. So I know that I need to start working on my facial positionings and stuff. And I'm not the best artist in the world, but I feel like if I could tell people to do like one thing, or if I could give a little bit of advice that might help even just one person, then it makes it worth it to make a video like this, because not only does it give an example of what you can do, it also just like helps people. I've had comments where people are like, "Hey, I've done this and this because you did this and it really just inspired me." And that's what it is, being an artist. Being an artist is kind of like being an inspiration to people, and that's what it is, and that's what makes art so cool, is because not only is it for yourself, but once you start making for yourself and start making in terms of like what you would want to see, it makes it so other people want to see it too. And that's why the art, like, do it for yourself, is like the advice, do it for yourself, is so important, because once you start realizing what you want, other people start to flock to you, because people can tell once you've put effort into something. You're more likely to put effort into something you enjoy creating, and people can tell if you wrote a story, but like for school, and it wasn't something you were passionate about, you'd probably half-ass it. You'd probably go to AI, ChatGPT or whatever, and you write me a story, and you can tell that there's been no effort. But if you go out of your way to write a story for yourself, for your own characters, whatever it is that motivates you, you wrote a story about that, then people would read it and they'd know that you've put yourself into that, you've put effort into that piece of writing. And it's the same for art. It's the same. It's the same with sports. If you really like a certain sports, you're gonna try harder in it. But if you really like don't like a sports, then it's not gonna be something that you're interested in, and you're not gonna try as hard. And people are gonna see the difference in your athletic abilities for that specific sport, and that's how it is with art as well. Which is why the advice is so important to just do that. Overall, I think that this exercise is a really good way to just get back into art, especially if you've been in art block for a long time, because, it doesn't take much resources and it's pretty much like free to do. And it just kind of helps you understand where you need to improve. As you can see, I need to improve quite a lot, and that's okay, because that's what art's about. It's about improving and making yourself better. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe because it helps the channel, and you can join my Discord server in the link below if you want to join in challenges, because we are planning to do a few events, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!